So Amy, yeah, you and Dave, the ownership, everything starts from the top. The culture of the company, the integrity. What has not changed over the years from the first time I met you, Amy, at the Pike Hotel in Long Beach? Since that point, and even before that, before I met you, but the thing that has been constant is Dave and Amy's integrity. Excuse me, their mission. That has never wavered, and that's really unusual. That I feel like that's very unique because we're a company that is privately owned by two individuals who are on a mission. They've been on a mission for 30 years, over 30 years total. So it does start from the top down. The other thing is, I know Tracie and I are on the same page with this, and we're kind of cut from the same cloth. I never stop working my business. In all these 12 years, I never felt compelled to say, okay, I've got a residual income now, and I can just kick back and collect the check. That is so boring to me. That would be so boring. So what really drives me is, like Tracie said, all of you, like the people that are here, not only the stories of health, which are really important because that's what it's all about, but the financial stories, what that's done to change people's lives. And when you see people here that, like so many of you, there's so many of you here, but Michelle Boersma, where this business, she loses her photography business during COVID, gets into this business, is able to be with her dad through his health journey, which was very intense, and now be with her mom. Same thing with Melissa, with Nicole, with her son. Being able to have all these changes, there's so many more people out there who need this, that we can really help them. Like, there's so many more stories out there. What are they? Who are these people? So we have to talk to so many people. I'm curious if anybody here, or anybody you know on your team, is there anybody here, and be really transparent, or people on your team who maybe have a little bit of a fear of talking about the business? Is there anybody here? Or people you know, okay? So I'm gonna share a little fear that I had. I didn't come to my first Diamond Club. I had a diamond come to Diamond Club. My personally enrolled diamond, Melissa, you don't even know this. I had a diamond come, you might remember this, who became a crown. And I didn't come to Diamond Club with them. Do you know why? I had a phobia of flying. I would not get on a plane. And I didn't come to the next Diamond Club, and I also had a diamond at that Diamond Club. And what got me to get on a plane was convention. Because it was told to me, I was on my way to hitting crown, and I was told, that is a non-negotiable. You do not come to not come to the convention, especially if you're any type of leadership rank. You just do not come. So I was like, Doug, should we drive? Would we drive across country from Florida to California, like John Madden or whatever his name was, the guy that would never fly? And then I was just like, okay, that's not feasible. So I got on the plane, I forced myself to do it. There was even a little bit of turbulence, and that was nerve-wracking, but I got on it, got to the convention, which I hope every single person here is doing, and getting every single person on your team. And it was worth it. I was telling Amelia this story, and Amy, because Amelia, you didn't know the story when we were eating dinner, and you were like, well, were you still, after you flew that one time, were you kind of scared, or were you still nervous? And I was like, no. Once I did it, ripped the Band-Aid off, it was liberating. It was liberating. We were flying all over the place after that. So I'm using this analogy of fear, of prospecting. This is the lifeblood of our business, is to continue getting new blood. New blood is the lifeblood of our business. And I'm sorry, I went way off on a tangent about what we had back then, but I wanted to tie that in because we need so many more brand partners. We need so many people out there picking up the phone, talking to the people that you know in your network and getting them here, because this really does change lives. And I'll just say one quick thing and hand it back to you, Tracie, I'm sorry. But back then, when I started, I couldn't even figure out how to put an order in. It was complicated, it was clunky, The website, please don't anybody ever complain about the website that we have now. Please don't. It's phenomenal what we have now, but it was so difficult. I could not even figure it out. And it was so basic at the same time. Like, there were no bells and whistles. You remember it, right? I wish I had a screenshot of it now. To show everybody.
Branding and everything was completely different. We didn't have brochures to start with. It was a lot. These are your grandmothers that walked to school barefoot in the snow 20 miles. Yeah, that's us.
And what else? From back then that you can remember?
No appleberry.
Wait, who said that?
Christina.
Do you remember?
No.
Yeah,
I've heard the horror story.
Our very first home meeting, we opened up a box of Purium and followed the instructions, kind of, and we ended up serving ionic elements in Dixie cups straight up. we still sold everybody there, but that's what we lived through. I mean, I was telling Amy, my first experience with Purium was love super meal. I was on the phone already talking to people about joining Purium and, this great company, and somebody brought in the box, and we didn't have shaker bottles, so they took the full serving of Super Meal Love and mixed it with a fork, and it sat there while I was on the phone, and that was my first experience with Purium, and I'm like, oh, this is what we're selling. But, what happened, let me just say this, if you had met me 12 years ago, you wouldn't have remembered me. Because I was the person at the back of the room, the one wearing all black, the one you didn't notice. Definitely not the person who's at the front of the room, not the one with the microphone, not the one on the stage. And your story of flying, Sonia, is so great because it really proves that confidence is created by doing, by taking action. And every time we take an action, we gain comfort with something. And I've run into a lot of people just like you, having experienced that they feel afraid of sharing the business without understanding what the total offering, what the total package is, because you're thinking about it as business, which has a meaning to you, and then it has a meaning to the people you're trying to talk to. But if you really understand the wholeness of the offering of Purium, that it's part of it, that it creates the community like we have here now. Without the business, this room wouldn't exist. We wouldn't be here together. The night we spend together and the conversations we have and the countless stories of me being able to be with my mom when she was in the hospital for months and caring for her when she came out of the hospital, or when my aunt broke her hip, who's my mom's primary caregiver, and then I had to take both of them in. Like, how many stories of those where if I had a regular job like my brothers do, none of them were capable of taking that spot, but I was.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, mic drop moment with that, really, because this business it's unlimited what the possibilities are, but it enables people to be able to do and have the things that are the most important to them. And, Nicole's story with Noah, with your son Noah, and that first, her why has evolved significantly, and your why should be evolving, because if it's not, you're not growing. If you're not hitting your why, achieving it, and on to the next one, then you may be stagnant. But being able to put him in that special needs camp, that they thought they could only give him 1 week, because it was $700 a week to put him in a special needs camp, and her first check from Purium paid for the whole month. The next check paid for the whole summer. So wouldn't you love to be able to help somebody have a story like that, like have an achievement like that? That's what drives us, is finding more people. And the other, that we can help that way. The other thing is, again, think about the ownership of the company again, privately owned, mission driven, really matters. What did they just do? They made adjustments to the comp plan that are exciting, that are really cool, that are gonna help people make more money, focusing on those activities. Compensation, plans, drive, behavior. Focusing on the activities of enrolling and duplication. That's what we need. That's how we're gonna move the needle. So thank you for doing that, Amy. Everybody on our team is so excited about it. So, I mean, everything is constant improvement with Purium. So we have these private owners, mission-driven. You're hearing maybe about companies going to affiliate, companies closing their doors, We're so fortunate, and this is part of why Doug and I are so 100% loyal to this company. We don't ever even have a thought to talk about, to promote anything else. Never. Same thing with Melissa. Look at, I know I'm jumping around topics, but look at the people that are the top earners in the company. That's a common denominator. They're only doing singular focus with Purium. So success leaves clues, right? That tells you something. You don't want to dilute your focus. Not that anybody here is, or ever would, but I'm just saying, you know, if you hear things like that, just stay laser focused.
Right, because you can do anything, but you can't do everything, right? And so if you split your focus and you put a drop here, then you never get as far ahead as you'd like to. And so if you love the results that people get in their health, then you should be totally vested in bringing people in as brand partners. Because for me, again, that person at the back of the room, the one you didn't notice, through my organization, I'd say over 150,000 people have tried Purium. That wasn't me. That wasn't even the people I knew. It wasn't even the people they knew. It's only because we have brand partnerships and each door was opened. Think about yourself. How many doors had to come open and a yes had to be said for you to have Purium today and for you to be in that seat here tonight? So who's the next person that you'll open the door for them to say yes to help the person you don't know yet? That's what we're trying to do with brand partnership, is we have to go much faster, much further, and many hands make the work light. And you're uniquely qualified to meet your community where they're at. We can't do that. Only you can. And only the people you know can reach their communities too. So, we love this business. We love doing it, we love each other. We love you.
We've been friends the entire time and close friends in this business. We have our chit chats, our marathon chit chats every couple months. We talk for like 2 hours. Yeah. But there's so many great things about this, and I'm just curious for everybody here, just yell out, like, what is the one thing that you love the most about this business? Or just raise your hand and say it. What is the one thing that is the most gratifying to you about this business? Melissa Hanson.
There's a zillion things to